Well, welcome back to Walking Across Barriers, Stones of Remembrance. And today we're going to be looking at on day two, remembering God's faithfulness in the wilderness. Yesterday we talked about the memory stones and what they are, reminders of God's goodness that anchor us when life feels uncertain. And today we're stepping into the wilderness, those dry, uncomfortable seasons when we wonder if God still sees us, still hears us, and still cares. Have you ever felt like you were walking in circles, like you're trying to move forward, but everything around you feels barren? No fruit, no progress, just waiting. And that's what the wilderness often feels like. But here's the truth: the wilderness is not wasted, it's not punishment, it's a classroom. It's a place where we learn God's faithfulness in a way that we never could in comfort. Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way to the wilderness these 40 years to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart and whether or not you would keep his commands. He humbled you, causing you to hunger and then feeding you with manna, which neither you nor your ancestor had known, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Notice the first phrase. Remember how the Lord your God led you. See, even in the wilderness, God was leading them. A pillar of cloud by day, fire by night, a constant visible reminder of his presence. And sometimes we don't realize until after the fact that God was leading us all along. You might look back one day and see that the delay was protection, or the closed door was redirection. So take a moment and think about a time when you felt lost, but somehow you ended up exactly where you needed to be. And that's God's quiet guidance, his faithfulness in disguise. Then it says he fed you with manna. Manna was daily bread, just enough for today, never too much for tomorrow. If they tried to store it, it spoiled. And isn't that the picture of how God provides? He doesn't give us a lifetime supply of strength at once. He gives us today's portion, just enough peace for today, just enough courage for today. Maybe you're listening right now and you're in that exact place, depending on God day by day, paycheck to paycheck, prayer by prayer. That's not failure, that's faith. The wilderness teaches us how to trust God for daily manna. And in Exodus 17, the people were thirsty and angry. Why did you bring us out here to die? They asked Moses. But God told Moses to strike the rock, and water gushed out. See, God brings refreshment from the most unexpected places. Sometimes your rock, that hard, immovable circumstances, is actually the place where living water will flow. He can bring provision out of pressure, beauty out of barrenness. So when life feels hard as a rock, remember, water can still flow from it when God is near. It's easy to remember the big miracles, the healings, the breakthroughs, the answered prayers. But what about the small ones? The friend who called you at the right moment, the peace that came after you prayed, the strength to get out of bed when your heart was heavy. Those are manna moments too, daily reminders that God is with you. When we begin to notice and name those small miracles, gratitude grows and faith deepens. So you start to say, if he was faithful then, he will be faithful again. So here's something to ponder today. What has sustained you in your wilderness seasons? Think back. What has God done for you in dry places of your life? Maybe it was provision, maybe it was people, maybe it was simply his peace. You might even write those moments down. Make your own memory stones. Each one tells a story. I was in the wilderness, but God was faithful. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. Paul understood wilderness living, not as lack, but as training. He learned contentment because he remembered God's faithfulness every season. So, Lord, thank you for leading us even in the dry places. Thank you for the manna in the morning, for the strength just enough for today. Help us to remember how you provided before, so we can trust you to do it again. Teach us to see the small miracles all around us, and when we walk through the wilderness, remind us you are still the same faithful God who brings water from the rock. Amen. Well, thank you for joining me today on day 2, the memory stones in dry and difficult times. If today's message encouraged you, take a moment to pause and remember one way that God has been faithful to you, even in the wilderness. And tomorrow we'll talk about the power of gratitude, how thankfulness becomes the weapon when the world feels dry. So until then, hold on to your memory stones. God is faithful, even here.